A WSU fraternity member has died after he was found unconscious this morning. Tonight, a look into past fraternity incidents. And the city of Spokane is investigating the leader in charge of Spokane's only warming center. We are investigating Julie Garcia's past and what the city is doing to make sure taxpayer money is used properly.
The roller coaster continues after some midday rain and snow today, still tracking more precipitation all the way heading into the weekend.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Mark Hanrahan. Breaking news involving a student death at WSU. All fraternities and sororities at the university have suspended all social events for the semester after a fraternity member was found dead at the Alpha Tau Omega house this morning. Police believe the death was likely alcohol related. KREM 2's Brandon Jones is live on campus tonight with what investigators are saying. Brandon?
Yeah, Pullman police told me they responded to a call at 8:35 this morning to a fraternity member that appeared unconscious and wasn't breathing. Other members of that frat tried to perform CPR until medics arrived, but at that point, the 19-year-old had already passed away. Detectives have been at Alpha Tau Omega House all day trying to figure out how a student died at Washington State University. They believe the death is alcohol related. This is the first frat-related death at WSU since 2016 when a 21-year-old was found dead in his bedroom as a result of acute intoxication. There have been several reports of students injuring themselves after a night of drinking, with some even falling out of windows.
Well, it's not completely uncommon, but it is the first one this year where we've had a death in a fraternity.
A recent trend of fraternity deaths have been occurring nationwide. Earlier this week, San Diego State University sent a message to their school and suspended all frats from their campus. That came after a 19-year-old freshman died in the hospital when he was found unresponsive in his dorm room. The night before, it's believed the student attended a fraternity event. While the incident on Washington State's campus is further investigated, resources are available for any student that needs to talk about the situation.
And they're providing any counseling and support that they can offer.
The National Organization for the Frat released a statement saying they'll have a team on campus to work with chapter members and law enforcement. Police say they've been receiving calls all day long about this case. They're coming from across the country. They're asking about San Diego, and they want to know what happened here. Live in Pullman, Brandon Jones, KREM 2 News.
Brandon, thank you very much. Meantime, the city of Spokane is investigating what they call serious concerns about the leader of the nonprofit in charge of the city's only warming center. The city awarded Jules Helping Hands a $750,000 contract to run that center. KREM 2 has learned about the specifics of the new allegations. Our Ian Smay explains what the city is doing to ensure taxpayer money is used properly while helping the city's most vulnerable people.
The city of Spokane is investigating what they call serious concerns about the leaders of the nonprofit selected to run the city's only warming center. The city has learned of a previous theft charge against Julie Garcia, one of the leaders of Jules Helping Hands. These allegations aren't from her time at Jules Helping Hands, but they actually stem from when she worked at a Spokane in-home care provider called Comfort Keepers. Garcia was charged with a count of first-degree theft in 2013 while working for Comfort Keepers. Jules Helping Hands claims in a statement that the charge was dropped because the allegations were, in their words, completely false and made by someone with a personal vendetta. But according to court documents, the charge was actually dropped due to Garcia suffering from chronic medical issues. The theft charge came after she was accused of attempting to steal over $50,000 from a patient. City spokesperson Marlene Feist says the city is going forward with the contract as of now, but they will continue to investigate the concerns surrounding Garcia. Jules Helping Hands says Spokane City Council member Mike Fagan raised concerns in an attempt to stop the nonprofit from running the warming center. We interviewed Fagan over the weekend, and he says while he believes in second chances, lives are on the line when it comes to the warming center.
I went ahead and did my due diligence, investigated it. I'm all about the second chances. I've made my mistakes in life. I've had third, fourth, fifth chances, and I get it. But I'm telling you something, we're talking about lives at stake here with this warming center's situation.
Jules Helping Hands say they have checks in place to properly manage how the hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxpayer money is spent. The city previously set a requirement for the nonprofit to obtain theft insurance after it was revealed that Treasurer Jason Green had served prison time for embezzlement. Now, the city is also requiring Jules Helping Hands to outline their operations and data reporting plans. You can find the city's and the nonprofit's full statements on our website at krem.com. In the studio, Ian Smay, KREM 2 News.
In other news, opening day for Schweitzer Mountain coming up in about 2 weeks, and today, take a look, they got some snow. We even saw some snow here in Spokane and North Idaho. Our Thomas Patrick tracking some cooler conditions over in the Weather Center. Thomas?
Yeah, that snow obviously a big talker today, a lot in North Idaho, but just a few flurries in Spokane before it switched over to rain as predicted for the midday hours. Nothing happening right now. Beautiful light show out at Riverfront Park as always. I almost feel bad that the graphic is actually going to cover that up, but just mind that at least for now. 36 cloudy skies right now. No more rain, no more snow. We'll also take a peek at Lookout Pass. One car, it certainly got the brights on, and that's good news, but the road is wet. There's snow on the face of the mountain, but just take it easy if you are still planning to drive over any mountain passes for tonight or tomorrow morning. But there's Doppler radar. Nothing left to report. That was a pretty quick moving system earlier this afternoon. We'll put that in motion. You can see most of that rain and snow has now crossed into central Idaho and Montana for the time being. So our temperatures right now still standing in the 30s as they have done all day long. So there might be a few patchy, icy spots on the bridges in the overnight hours. But our morning commute will focus on some fog, and not just for Wednesday morning, but several mornings to come. A look at just how long that's going to extend into the extended forecast and when more rain chances will be back as well.
Sounds good, Thomas. Thank you very much. New at 5 tonight, a judge sentenced 3 men to 4.5 years in prison for drugging and sexually assaulting a teenage girl. DNA evidence linked William Jackson, Harold Sherman, and Curtis Burgett to the case. Jackson was accused of befriending the victim, who ran away from home, and bringing her to his downtown Spokane apartment. They sexually assaulted her and gave her drugs. She eventually escaped. The men will also serve 3 years of community custody. Also new at 5 tonight, jurors will decide how much Amtrak has to pay a passenger who was injured in that deadly 2017 crash. In closing arguments today, jurors heard how an 18-year-old victim fractured her spine and broke her pelvis when the train car she was on crashed onto the freeway. In September, a different jury awarded nearly $17 million to 3 people injured in that same crash. The Amtrak derailed in DuPont, Washington, killing 3 people and injuring dozens more. Spokane County is one step closer to opening a crisis center for people undergoing mental health emergencies. County commissioners today signed a contract with a nonprofit to develop that center. That facility will look similar to the one just across the border in Coeur d'Alene. KREM 2's Taylor Vita reports from North Idaho, where experts say the crisis center there is already making a difference.
Staff here at the Northern Idaho Crisis Center say this facility is really filling an important need in our area. They say it takes pressure off of law enforcement agencies and hospitals, and they have a couple years experience that they can now share with the folks in Spokane.
We feel like crisis is in the eye of the beholder. We want to be a place in the community for somebody to come to feel safe.
That mantra has proven to be successful in Idaho after 4 years. Now, the same model is coming to Spokane. Open 24/7, the center is staffed with medical staff and counselors who can get help to those who need it.
So I can put somebody in some donated clothing, let them take a shower, get them some personal care items while I'm washing their clothes in the basement.
If they're hungry, we feed them. If they need something, some rest, they can have some time to just rest.
The center was championed by the Kootenai County Sheriff. Someone having mental health issues can be taken here instead of the ER or jail.
Is that gave law enforcement another place to take somebody where they could actually get help, get connected with services, reconnected with services.
Kootenai Health operates the facility, which is just a stone's throw from the hospital. Now, Spokane County is pursuing their own crisis center. County leaders there studied this center and are basing their facility on Coeur d'Alene's model. Staff here are proud of that. Last year, they served around 1,400 people at the crisis center, and one of their main messages to Spokane County: have your future crisis center and staff be flexible.
Being able to adapt to whatever issue presents at your front door. You have to adapt to the needs of the community.
The feedback is almost instant, they say. Some mental health clients have come more than once, and staff say their stories show the center is making a difference.
They'll say, if that crisis center wasn't there, I may not be here.
For now, it's not clear when physical work on Spokane's crisis center would begin. In Coeur d'Alene, Taylor Vito, KREM 2 News.
Congressional Republicans have drafted a plan to defend President Trump during the upcoming public impeachment hearings. Those public hearings begin tomorrow morning. They will focus on President Trump's dealing with Ukraine.
For now, the House is simply gathering relevant evidence about what the president did.
Republicans will argue the president did not lay out any conditions when he asked Ukraine's president to launch political investigations. Second, both President Trump and Ukraine's president have said there was no pressure to conduct the investigations. Third, they will argue that Ukraine wasn't aware that U.S. military aid was being withheld at the time of that call, and that U.S. military aid was released even without Ukraine conducting the investigations. You can watch the live public hearings tomorrow on KREM.com as well as our app. And according to a new CBS poll, Americans are split ahead of tomorrow's first public hearings. 43% say they think President Donald Trump should be impeached over the Ukraine controversy, while 40% say he should not, and 17% say it's too soon to say. Well, cheers outside the U.S. Supreme Court today after justices heard arguments on the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program, also known as DACA. The justices will consider 3 lower court rulings that the Trump administration acted improperly when ending the program, and that the administration did not provide an adequate reason for doing so. The Obama administration created DACA to protect young people brought to the U.S. illegally as children. They are allowed to get work permits. The Supreme Court's decision is not expected for several more weeks.
Well, look, all I've got to do is, if I run, explain to people what I think is wrong with this country and how I would fix it.
Michael Bloomberg has filed paperwork to appear on the ballots in Arkansas's March presidential primary. The former New York mayor has not formally announced his Democratic bid, but his latest trip to Arkansas is an indication that he's considering running. Bloomberg plans to skip the traditional early voting states and focus more on Super Tuesday states, including Arkansas and Alabama.
In the end, I couldn't really put it into words, so it's incredible.
A wounded Idaho Marine now has a new home, and that's all thanks to his community. Jesse Cottle gained national recognition in 2013 when a photo of his wife carrying him on her back went viral. He lost his legs to an explosive device while in Afghanistan, and for a decade, Cottle and his family lived in homes that were not made for someone in a wheelchair. But thanks to his community in Eagle, Idaho, he now has a new home built just for him.
Through the smart technology that we've put in the home, he can be sitting on the couch, laying in bed, and turn lights off in different parts of the home. He can lock doors without getting out of his chair.
Cottle says he's now excited to start a new chapter in his life in a wheelchair-accessible home.